Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars.
SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. How is your business mindset, and could your belief systems be holding you back? The way we've been brought up by our parents and broader society can result in a fixed mindset that needs to be changed. Tristan Wright is a coach who calls himself the Chief Business Sherpa at his company, Evolve to Grow. He says there are 5 key ways to help remove business barriers so that you can achieve your goals. Tristan starts by describing to Jeff Waters what some of the most common obstacles look like.
Look, at the end of the day, it's about our mindset because we are capable of achieving so many things, but growing up, we have limitations put on us by others around us, and our belief systems hold us back. So our mindset, our belief systems, if we work on them and we change them and are aware of them, that is going to make a massive difference for us achieving our potential and working where we want to get to.
So what are some of the aspects of those mindsets that hold people back?
So the simplest way to put it is, and I'm going to be a tiny bit controversial here, our parents, our society tells us that we can achieve a certain amount of thing. We need to live our life a certain way. We need to go down a certain path because that's a safe way. But if we think outside the box a tiny bit and focus on what truly makes us happy or where we want to go rather than what society tells us where to go, we can change the way we think and actually fulfill our potential.
So is that what you'd call a fixed mindset?
Pretty much. Spot on. You've hit the nail on the head.
So it's what we've been brought up with?
Yes. And we've been brought up. Majority of people will have a fixed mindset. There are people or business owners that achieve will have an open mindset or a growth mindset. But it's so commonplace that most people will have a fixed mindset, unfortunately.
So what is it like to have a growth mindset?
Happiness. Put simply, if we've got a growth mindset...
How do you get one?
Yeah, that's the challenge. It's being not afraid to fail and not caring what others think of us. It is living life on our own terms. Rather than staying stagnant, we're moving forward and progressing, not being afraid to make mistakes, wanting to challenge ourselves, because unless we're challenging ourselves, we're going backwards and we're not going to be truly content or truly fulfilled.
And how do your habits play a role?
So the way we're built, it is very simple or very easy to fall into bad habits or old routines and go back from that growth mindset to that closed mindset. So it's not about changing everything overnight. It's about making micro changes and micro improvements and consistently following that process and knowing that you've got somewhere that you want to get to and trusting that process, that you're making the correct improvements, and that will actually build those habits. So something that's a challenge today that you actually have to work hard towards is going to be simpler in 6 months' time because you've built it into a habit and you've told yourself that you actually have to continuously do this day in, day out.
Can you give us any examples?
So I'm giving you myself as an example. Start of lockdown, I wasn't exercising at all. I weighed probably about 95 kilos and I realised that my health wasn't good enough. So I said, all right, I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to start running. I started out running 3 days a week, 5Ks every second day kind of thing. And that was a very first step because I knew that if I did this, I would start losing weight, I would be fitter, I would be healthier, I would be happier. Today, I'm running probably 50 or 60 kilometres a week, 5 or 6 days a week, and I do that second nature. It's easy because I started out with micro steps and now I'm doing it day in, day out, and I'm doing a lot more of it, and I've lost 10 kilos plus.
How can people boost their business productivity?
The best way is we need to remember what our end goal is. What is it that we want to achieve in business? Because if we're not focusing on that, we're going to spend time on things that aren't actually giving us results. So if we've got the end in mind, thinking what we want to achieve, we can then do a bit of an audit on what we're doing on a day-to-day basis and think, is that actually getting us results for our end goal, or is that just keeping us busy? That's the simplest way to do it. And then the next step is, a lot of people promote themselves as multitaskers. Being a multitasker is terrible. That will just slow you down. Get rid of multitasking, focus, do one thing at a time, do your top 3 most important priorities. That will help you get towards your end goal. That will allow you to focus on what's actually getting you results and achieve them quicker, because we're not multitasking, jumping from one screen to another or from one conversation to the next.
All right. And you say that self-belief plays a part. How so?
This sort of comes back to the mindset. Another way to explain it is, we tell ourselves stories in our mind all day, every day, whether it is what we're having for dinner or we talk to ourselves about how we're feeling. So if we're constantly talking to ourselves in our mind about positive thoughts, we will achieve positive things. But if we're talking to ourselves in our mind about something negative, our focus will be on that negative thing and we will only achieve that negative thought. But if we focus on the positive in our mind and we're constantly telling ourselves, I can do this, or this is what I will achieve, we'll actually get there because we're telling ourselves that in our mind. It's really as simple as that. Our mind controls what we do, and the stories that we tell ourselves are going to actually dictate what we do or what we don't do. And that's believing in yourself.
And finally, you advise your clients to embrace the challenge. What do you mean by that?
I'm not going to swear, but I've got a saying, F up and F up fast. And what I mean by that is, don't be afraid to make mistakes, because every single mistake that we make, we learn from and we can progress and move forward. If we don't make a mistake, we stay stuck, we stay stagnant. So the more that we embrace a challenge, the more we're going to learn, the more we're going to build up resilience, because we see what happens to us when we make a mistake, and the next time it happens, it's not going to hurt as much. And we're going to get perspective of what's happening around us. So don't be afraid to make a mistake, because you're going to learn and move forward from it.
That was Tristan Wright, business coach and founder of Evolve to Grow. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.